Welcome back to the most important podcast in the world. I'm your host, Reese Wood, and this is Most Important Moment number 4. We're going to talk about Antoine Mcneail real quick because we're going to wrap up what happened since last episode. We did that interview with Antoine Mcneail, comedian, who coincidentally sold out that comedy show we were promoting in that episode. Awesome, right? If you haven't already, make sure you follow Antoine Mcneail and One Motion Outreach Enterprise all over Facebook, Instagram, X, and wherever else you can find them in a Google search. What else happened since last episode? We made updates to the mostimportantpodcast.com. If you haven't checked that out, what a treasure. Built the website myself. The big budget that's behind the show, I built the website, so just like everything else on the show, it's not a big budget show, and there is no big budget behind it. There's no writers, there's no canceling. It never happened. Sorry. But please check out the mostimportantpodcast.com. It's the website. It's where you can find all the episodes. It's where you can find all the social media links. It's also where you can contact me. The email, it's official, Reese at mostimportantpodcast.com, REESE, just like the candy, at mostimportantpodcast.com. And let's talk about the podcast itself. What are we doing with this podcast? What's it all about? Let me tell you, it's a podcast, very simply, about what's most important to other people. And I do that through research. I find out what's most important to them. Sometimes these are people I know. Sometimes it's people I gotta do a lot of Google searching on. But one way or another, these are people who have great things to talk about. Maybe things that some of us, including myself, have never thought about before. They could be basic things from people's lives, or something tremendously outrageous. It could be something they overcame, an obstacle, a challenge, but anything. What's most important to you? What's most important to me? That's what we talk about on these most important moments. Because one thing this podcast is not is a gotcha podcast. I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to bust out our guest and try to tell them they're wrong about things or things of that nature. It's just not important. Not important. But if I disagree with anybody, or if I have something to add to it, or something I thought about afterwards, we're going to talk about that on the most important moments, and recap on things that maybe we've thought about since the last episode. What did you think about that interview with Antoine Mcneail? Tell me. You can write me, Reese at mostimportantpodcast.com. Or comment anywhere you see the video, all over the webs. What did you think of it? Or any of the episodes we've done so far? We're only on 4. Only 4. But we do have other guests lined up. We got about 3 lined up right now, and I'm pretty excited for them because these are going to be mostly non-political, other topics besides politics, and we might venture into some political realm a little bit. But speaking of politics, okay, one thing I don't do with guests is probably talk about news from the week unless it's important to them. But stuff is happening all the time in the week, every week, and it seems like a lot of us, by the time the next week has come, we forgot about last week. And I wonder, we're going to, over here, I wonder how many of us forget about things that happened last week. And this week, it was a strange week. Pull up my Googles here because, what is this? Canada apologizes for honor awarded to ex-Nazi soldier in 1987. Weirdness. And if you didn't catch this one, I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff going on every week, but this is just the tip of the iceberg on weird things that happen just nationally in the national spotlight. Locally, things happen all the time. That's where I like to focus. Beloit and Janesville, Wisconsin, maybe Wisconsin news. That's my area of expertise, my area of focus usually. But in the national news, every week, I really wonder how many of us forget the things that happen, because so much seems to happen. It's not that long ago, COVID, and we're still, a lot of us, unsure of what the outcomes were, regarding any question you might have about COVID. Where do you go for the facts? I'm still wondering. I know everyone says they know where to go, they know what to say, they know what to do. Not on this podcast. On this podcast, I really wonder a little too often. And I think some of us, a lot of us, do about a lot of things. We should, by my estimation, have more questions than we have answers. So that is what the side view camera was for. Thank you for whoever donated this, but genius. Right, we're going to go back this way, because I'm not going to make this one long. This is a short, most important moment. Like I said, we got other interviews coming up. I'm so excited for where this podcast is going, but I want to hear from everybody. Maybe you want to be a guest. Maybe you know someone who would make a good guest. If you've never been on a podcast, I don't care. This is a great place to start. I could be a hard guy to talk to, but at least I've been told that I'm somewhat easy to communicate with. I go back over here. I wonder about that. And go back over here. I no longer wonder, at least on this camera. All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.